when you are issued a card as a transgender person, the card there will be X, it will be classified, under the category of X. Card as a third gender, with the X category, that means that that person is not going to get married. So this is the main, that's the main thing, basically, whereby the law has given them the right to self-identification of their gender. So it does cover people who are intersex as well as people who are trans, who may have biologically maybe their sexual identification is there, but then their gender identification does not correspond with their biological difference. If you see, it's not a very long, elaborative kind of a law. It's very clearly says, that any person, transgender person has the right now for the self-identification of their gender. So the assignment of their, on their ID card, their sex will be according to person's own self-identification.
There is transphobic behaviors. There are stigma, discrimination, harassment. They get to be raped, violence, gender-based violence, and even murders. So the situation is worst with the community, and my transgender community is living a life which is not, somebody cannot say that that is a life or ideal life or something. So this was a ray of light to the community from the whole dark around us. So this act, this legislation, this unrivaled legislation, which allows transgender persons to get registered with NADRA, National Database and Registration Authority, Pakistan, and according to the to NADRA's registration, they can able to get their further documents better or changed. This act is a surety of basic human rights, but this embrace the basic human rights of transgender person. Let's say there is written right to health, there is written right to education, right to employment, right to vote, right to hold public places, right to employment, right to vote.
I think this whole debate around that the law is going to promote homosexuality, that therefore it will break, our family system, the kind of, argument which Jamaat Islami senator is using, doesn't hold any grounds. This is, I think, this law is kind of as simple as it is, and of course now they wanted to have this introduce this amendment that there should be some kind of medical examination when people are trying to get this new ID cards with their transgender people. When they apply for the ID card, they are asking that they should go through this medical checkups and all that. Trans communities, the most marginalized community, they don't have any acceptability in our society. And with this law, they're coming together. They were, becoming more organized. They were asserting their right as trans people. And now this controversy is like, casting that kind of doubt, all these trans people are into homosexuality and things like that. This typical stereotypes, views, which are being now publicized on social media. And obviously this JI and now the other religious parties are also participating, because religious parties which are totally sidelined, now they are using this as a issue, and then try to say, okay, they are the one who are the protector of Islam and religion and all that. So I think it's all very politically motivated as well, this whole controversy.
My community, including me, is truly in favor of our legislation. And if this legislation get changed, which I am praying, we are praying that it will sustain, then we as community will again go to the darkness, which was the normal. And due to this legislation, after 4 years of this legislation passed, we have success stories. We have 2 doctors, transgender persons. We have 1 lawyer, transgender persons. Yes, there should be progress in the legislations to cover the loopholes if there are some, but there is no need to amend portraying, which is in talk in during this time period, which is in social media. So that is not a correct way. I am a Muslim transgender person, and I do not see anything which is against the essence of Islam. Islam teaches you treat good with with human beings. Islam teaches you speak truth. Islam teaches you treat your surroundings, your neighbors well. So consider us your neighbor, citizens of Pakistan. So my request is to the communities and Pakistani people that please support transgender community. We need you all just to avoid those 3 occupations, begging, prostitution, and wedding dancings. We want respectful life.
Legally, of course, the law has given them that right, of their self-identification of their gender. And I think this was like much appreciated within the country and outside Pakistan as well. The people were really, appreciating that the Pakistan has given that, recognized, their right of transgender people's right of self-identification. Although that does not mean the kind of marginalization this community is suffering, for so long is automatically going to be, disappear overnight. But I think this was the beginning where the trans community started becoming very vocal, assertive, and have this self-confidence, And they felt they got the recognitions. They were claiming their political space. Some of them in the last election. There are some trans people who also, contested elections. Then there are trans people who are claiming their quota. In the jobs there is a quota for transgender people, so they're also applying for those kind of jobs. And then they're also demanding, their health rights and their right to work and their right to dignity and all. So I think this law has given them that kind of ground to stand on, and so they were the entire community was feeling very empowered because of this legal recognition of their existence as a third gender. And now with this whole controversy, I think of course the community is also feeling insecure, and this is a debate which is totally I think untimely, unnecessary, waste of time. But obviously, as you know, in the social media and even in the national media, this debate is picking up. So this is a community which had got some rights, and now there are attempts to roll back whatever legal rights they were entitled, they were given to, and they were entitled to exercise their right of self-determination. I think it is very risky now because the debate is just, there are more right-wing people who are entering this debate and giving it a very different turn. I'm afraid the danger is that Parliament may review this law. There is no justification for any amendment in this law. There are so many laws, in Pakistan that needs amendment, like blasphemy law, and there are many laws that require some kind of amendments, but nobody is paying any attention, while this law does not require any amendment.